June 9th, 2024, and he's the smooth talking, chai drinking, banana eating, your favorite morning host, the host with the mostest, your favorite morning banana show, the Morning Banana Show, with your favorite host. I'm Josh.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Morning Banana Show, episode number 181. That's 181 organic bananas we've had together as friends, as family. We're here on the mountains of Portugal, flanked by my banana palms. And Desiree is considering joining the show. She's kind of thinking about it. Maybe she'll grab a chair and pull up. You know, she's always welcome. We're here in the garden. It's kind of overcast this morning. We were kind of promised rain by the weather apps, and I'm glad that we don't rely on rain. I can't imagine the farmers out here in Portugal that have been relying on the rain. That would be a real letdown. But we're used to that from Niagara. You know, the weather app says one thing, and then another thing happens. So.
Hello.
Desiree, everyone.
I made it.
So, would you like a banana?
Maybe.
I have two. So yeah, I was just saying maybe you can finish my point there, but we don't rely on the rain.
No, we go on fun excursions to collect river water. And it's fun because we discover new parts of our neighborhood and further, and we get to walk in the river and enjoy like the cool water. Tyler sat in the river yesterday too.
Yeah.
It wasn't as deep that you could swim. It wasn't deep enough for that, but yeah, it's just really nice. And there's frogs and
the tiniest frogs.
they're so cute. They're like little itty bitty, smaller than a quarter.
They're Portuguese frogs.
Yeah. And there's minnows and algae and just all kinds of life. It's really beautiful.
Banana down.
Yeah, so I like going to the river, and I really like going to the beach, which we haven't been in a while, and we need to get to the beach.
The reason we don't go to the beach as much as maybe you or anybody watching this would is because our teenage son Caden is, you know, he's turning 14 next month.
Yeah.
And I don't want to drop the P word on the Morning Banana Show, but you guys know what's happening, and he doesn't want to basically be seen right now. I think he wants to just hide with Harry Potter books or hide in his molting phase.
Yeah, not so much on the property, but like as soon as we're out, he's wearing his hat, and you know, like he doesn't want to get in the water at the beach.
Yeah.
So it's usually Tyler and I.
Yeah, I'll even get in the water. I don't mind, but
once in a while.
yeah, but
it's too cold.
It is too cold.
It is pretty cold.
It's the ocean.
But I don't care. Yeah, so in the end of the day, like it's just Tyler and me getting in the water, and then Adam and Caden sit at the beach.
Yeah.
I mean, Caden reads and he'll get some sun, but it's kind of like it's also too hot to be doing that.
Right. There's a lot of people that come to Portugal and go down to Albufeira or Sagres. The west coast is Sagres, right? With that place that we went to with the surfing community.
I think so.
They named a beer after it. Is it really called Sagres, or am I going loopy right now? But anyway, there's a part on the west coast where all the surfers go, southwestern coast tip area, and
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's Sagres, which is also the name of the beer.
We drive through Silves to get there.
maybe?
We're past Silves, which is more central Algarve.
We don't drink beer and we don't surf, so. Although Desiree is open to surfing and the kids are open to surfing lessons, and we even have a place to
we found someone that
facilitate that.
would give us some lessons. But apparently the summer is not the best time to get lessons. The waves are not the best in the summer, apparently. spring would have been the right time. And then they actually do a surfing summer camp too.
And the lady is so
We'll
nice
see.
that we met. She's
Yeah,
the best. She
she's
runs
really cool.
the restaurant that we like, the Moki Roka Poka? Poki Mocha?
Mocha Pokey?
Mocha Poki.
I don't know. I always say it wrong, so
Hokey
now,
Pokey.
now we don't know what it's called anymore.
I think it's Roka. There's an R in there. And
Yeah.
then P, Poka.
I don't know. I know it's for sure Poke, Pokey, like a poke bowl.
Yeah.
Um.
Really nice lady. She has a vegan restaurant / surf shop.
Oh yeah, it's like Rosha.
Yeah.
Poki.
Poki.
I think that's it.
Are they vegan or vegetarian? I'm not sure. But it's a good place.
They may have a few things on the menu that aren't vegan, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they have it just very clearly labeled what the vegan options are,
Mm-hmm.
and they're good at understanding cross-contamination and stuff like that. So, and their dishes are a whole thing in their own. I need the bowls that they have, and I found them in a store. I can't remember where though, but I have their business card.
Yeah.
So it's like this very particular style. I saw it at the Faro, the Lisbon market
Yeah.
when we were there. And yeah, it's just this really beautiful. There's so many local potters. It's like a whole thing here. And I was actually in a store like a week ago or something, and looking at all their traditional designs. Like the artwork on them is just incredible, just absolutely incredible. But there's a very specific type that I want, which is at this restaurant. I saw it there first. It's like basically mermaid bowls,
Yeah.
and I can't get them out of my head, so I know, at some point we'll have them. We'll find them, and we'll find the artist, and start our collection.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
In other news, Desiree and I sat down the other day and wrote a list of all the edible plants and veggies and beautiful flowers that we have on the property here now. And I'm not sure if we were surprised or overwhelmed or just like, yeah, that sounds right. But we have a lot. And the edible plants, edible trees, I think the list was something like 20 different species. And then the beautiful flowers, I think I had 10 on the list that we've planted, and then we went and bought more. And then the veggies, I think, was something around 15, 16 different varieties of veggies. The eggplant that I'm really impressed with is right behind the camera, growing really well on the ground.
Yeah, it has like 5 eggplants on it or something, maybe more.
All that to say, coming from Niagara, looking at, hey, what can I plant here in the Algarve, especially in the mountains a little higher up, with some decent water infrastructure, I think you can plant anything. We have not planted something that hasn't worked yet. And
yeah, well, we've also just planted everything, so we kind of we're
Yeah.
just getting to know everything and which plants thrive where on the property. We've already learned that most things are going to need a little shade in the summer.
Yeah.
Because as much as some plants love full sun. Full sun in Portugal is very different than full sun in Ontario, for example.
Yeah.
So we've discovered that the little nooks, like near other trees,
You want half of this apricot?
kind of.
Okay.
Near other trees work really well because they give a little bit of natural protection.
That's kind of actually where we're at right now. One of the places that we went to, and I should correct my grammar. I was saying the Miyoki method at the Orchard of Flavors that we went to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually Miyosaki
Miyawaki.
Kawahaki.
No, Miyawaki.
It's actually Kawasaki, the Kawasaki method. The guy's Japanese, and I love Toyota, so
It's Miyawaki.
Miyawaki. So I was
Yeah,
really
I
close
think.
with Milwaukee. Milwaukee, the power tool method is what we're using here to plant things. soil.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure it's not Miyawaki or Miyawaki? There's
No.
a SKI in there. Japanese names. But in this course that we went to, the people who run it were explaining that sometimes you might need to build shade walls. So we were looking at how they built a certain section where they have bananas, and they went out of their way to build a natural, wall to shade the bananas. And it just, like, intuitively we realized that this was the best place to put them. And so far the banana palms are doing really well.
Yeah, so they have a bit of wind protection
Right.
by being near a stone wall and then
Yeah.
a wall of other trees, like original trees that were
Yeah.
already here on the property, which we have some really epic trees.
And ancient trees.
Mm-hmm.
We have ancient carob here, ancient olives.
And like things we have no idea what to do with yet.
Yeah.
Like the carob, we're still learning.
And there's no shortage, sorry to cut you off, there's no shortage of people harvesting carob in this area. So for us to learn is like a drop in the bucket compared to what people are doing here. So
well, basically everyone here knows how to do it too.
Yeah,
like
to harvest carob.
Yeah, so when the time comes, we'll have a lot of people to ask for advice or help or support. So yeah, we've got the carob and then olive too. Just like
We've got
amazing trees.
the grandfathered oranges in the backyard that nobody's harvesting.
Yeah.
This is one of them. This is right over there.
Yeah, and it's so weird. Like the fruit's just falling on the ground now.
It reminds me of when Desiree and I and the kids went to Spain, and we were just like, they have oranges on the roads? They have oranges everywhere?
Well, in Sevilla, they have the Seville orange everywhere. And it's literally lining every street. It was wild. When we were there in January?
Yeah, and around the holidays, Christmas holidays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is why you get tangerines at Christmas time. Is because that's when they're ripe.
So many countries have them.
Yeah. But there's actually like a lot of varieties of oranges, clementines, tangerines. And apparently, with all the different varieties, there's always one that's ripe, basically.
Yeah. We're learning.
Mm-hmm.
We're learning as we go here. We didn't know that.
So if we wanted, we could do like a succession planting.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, we harvest these in January, these in February, these in March.
And this orange that we've got from a farm up the road is it's the best tasting orange I've ever had.
Yeah, every single one
is
just perfect and amazing and delicious.
I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm not a guy who craves oranges, but it was 2 weeks ago I woke up and both Desiree and I were craving oranges, and I said it's got to be some type of energetic thing from the plants while we're sleeping or...
Yeah, I woke up thinking, how am I going to go get some oranges?
Yeah. It's honestly, for vegans like us, when you drive by and you see a beautiful orange tree like this, these quality of oranges just falling on the ground and nobody's harvesting them. Because here in Portugal, there's this whole thing about like leaving the farm to your kids and people just inheriting things and not taking care of them.
So there's a lot of abandoned properties.
Everything that we're looking at, aside from one neighbor, which you guys have seen maybe if you follow me on X, everything is just abandoned. Like there's nobody out here but us and like one guy and our neighbor. So it's a common thing that you'll have trees, fruit trees, carob trees, olive trees that are nobody's tending to them.
Yeah.
So for people like us, or vegans like us who see this, it gives us emotions.
Yeah, and it's also really clear because the ones that are being tended to, they till the ground. They till the soil around all their trees, carob, figs, oranges, lemons. And I guess that they till them to keep the weeds in check.
Yeah.
But it's strange to me because personally,
Yeah.
I mean, I've done no-till gardening for a long time now, like at least since we moved into our house in Niagara. So that's kind of when I started learning about regenerating the soil and adding to the soil rather than putting a giant fork into it and upsetting the mitochondria, the mycelium
network.
Mitochondria in your stomach.
Yeah.
The mycelium
Welcome
network.
to the Morning Banana Show. I went through the whole Morning Banana Show, the last one, saying the Miyoki method, okay? Now, Miyawaki method. And Desiree was laughing at me, and I'm like, you try getting up first thing in the morning and saying words into a camera that make sense.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't understand ripping up the soil and how that's benefiting the trees, except for the initial not taking over.
The initial decompaction, I think, is valuable here.
Yeah, so that's something we learned, that like adding pine compost, for example, to the soil before you start planting.
Yeah.
It can be very beneficial.
One thing I did agree with was the guy that we saw. One of the things that we've learned here is that the clayish soil is very compacted with time and rain.
Yeah.
And so, although it's rich, which nobody can argue that the soil is rich. I mean, you can see behind me. This is untended to, just grandfathered in type. We bought it and here it is.
Yeah, there's at least 20 trees on the property that have just been here.
Yeah, so nobody
who knows how long.
Yeah, and the whole forest, the mountains behind us is green and lush. So nobody's arguing that somehow these trees are finding water. But if you're going to initially plant something like brand new, you're dealing with this clayish, rocky soil, which in this terrace mountain that we're on, is actually not as bad as we've seen. We've seen way worse. There were properties that were trying to be sold to us when we were buyers here, where we turned them away because of how bad it was. So
very rocky,
yeah. We knew that we wanted to plant something, so plants a garden. So one of the things that I agree with the lesson that we learned from this workshop was decompacting the soil, which is a nice way of saying grabbing a digger and scooping up your area, your bed, in different ways, and basically turning the soil. He said you can do it with a shovel, but you'll also need a chiropractor or a massage therapist afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, it depends a bit on your scale.
Yeah. If you're just doing a small garden bed, like we have a lot of different things going on here, actually, which is what I love about Love Farm Stay. We have, single trees that we've planted, and then we have a small bed, maybe like 6 by 12 feet. We have all different types of beds and all different types of projects that we're looking at.
Yeah, we have beds that we're moving.
Yeah. Well, we learned, right? So there's this one section over here that Desiree and I are referring to, where we had good intentions and we planted, and unbeknownst to us, we planted in direct sunlight all day long. And unless we shade it.
It's something I struggled with in Niagara. I never really had very sunny spots in the garden, or I would have had to make new beds and felt like I was taking over the whole garden.
Everything was too shady in Niagara.
Yeah, and so I was like, I'll just plant everything in direct sun. And I observed the sun a bit. I was like, this is the sunny spot. Turns out I was a little too much sun. And
the grandfathered in plants that have been here for a really long time, or the established systems, they can handle it, but new baby saplings, like, you'll just burn them. You'll just fry them up. One day you'll come back and they'll be toast.
So I'm shifting things. We're learning. I planted sweet potatoes in the shady part, and I planted sweet potatoes in the really sunny part, and we're just going to compare.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
And if that's something that you're interested in, you can follow us on Instagram at l.o.v.e.farmstay. I also have a playlist of YouTube videos that we filmed here in the link section of the Instagram page. Of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can go to my playlist and see all the videos. If you want to shoot me a message or something, or you have any questions about, like, hey, how does eggplant grow, or how did you wind up planting your banana palms or your palm trees, we're here for it. you can come visit us in person. You fly into Faro International Airport, and we can come get you in 10 minutes. We're open, to the public. We're open to people who are curious. We've had some guests here. We have an actual guest scheduled for September. Things that we're looking into are like organizing dry toilets, and the reality of expanding here into maybe 2 or 3 maximum tiny homes that cost about 10,000 euros each. So if you're somebody with a lot of money laying around that wants to, give us your money, one thing I would do with it if you had 10,000 euros and we work something out would be I would use the 10,000 euros to buy one of these tiny homes. I'd set it up, and then we could write in the contract between each other, this is how I'm going to repay you per guest and how much money per guest you're going to get with interest. I think that's something that an investor could help with. Otherwise, we're just going to go at our own pace. We've done a lot in 3 months. When you look at the list of things that we've planted and how our nursery is even going right now, what we've got going on, what we've got germinating, it's a lot. And even my family, who have gardens are saying to me, like, it's like a full-time job. And, Desiree and I are here in the mountains of Portugal out of love. This is what we want to do.
Yeah, we love growing food.
We love growing food.
Feeding people.
Yeah. We've had a couple meals with food from the garden here, but like the squash, the patty pan squash is almost big enough that we can harvest it, and the eggplant. Again, we've only been here for 3 months, but
yeah, we're already harvesting almost every day. We have lettuce and a lot of herbs, so the herbs obviously are nice to, finish off meals or make tea with.
Oh yeah, the herbs are invaluable. When we
and we bought some of those from the nursery. Not all of them are from seed, although now the seeds are catching up. That I planted, like coriander, for example.
When we have to harvest the olives, that's going to be fun. We have a whole game plan for the olives.
Yeah.
And how I'm going to jar them, and I'm going to get labels, and even we could sell them to the locals or people like yourselves who watch and are interested in getting some olives from Portugal. Organic olives from Portugal. So there's a lot of learning to do here on the farm. And for people who are interested in veganism or off-grid living, that's the whole point of this project. And it may not seem something that's like super easy. There's challenges. People tell us just use animal manure, for example. But being a vegan farm, everything that we do here, we approach with a lens of veganism and compassion. And because it's off-grid, we kind of threw that in as well. Like, all right, let's be an off-grid vegan experience. So if you want to learn about veganism or being off-grid, gray water, septic tanks, battery, solar, and then on top of all that, farming and vegan living, that's what we're up to here. So people can come camp here, you can park your RVs here, you can pitch a tent and hang out with us for a day or two, or just come and hang out and have a meal with us.
If it's safe, we'll have a bonfire.
Yeah. Got to keep an eye on whether it's too dry or too hot here in these upcoming months.
There's just certain times when you can have fires and certain times when you shouldn't.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fires in the spring when it was raining a lot. It was really nice. It was nice for cleaning up the land too.
All that being said, thanks for watching the Morning Banana Show. What are your links if people wanted to follow you?
Pure Love Reiki on Instagram, and then Love Farmstay on Instagram as well.
What are you working on lately? Anything you got going
today
on?
I'm gonna go paint because I found the supplies that I needed and wanted. So. Yeah.
And me, I'm on Twitter at adamjosh.com. Website is adamjosh.com. And there's like a playlist of many different things that I've done over the years that you can check out and shoot us a message if you want to come check out the farm stay. Thanks for watching the Morning Banana Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.